Alright guys, in today's video we're going to cover the basics of the dumbbell chest fly. And the reason why I'm covering this exercise in particular is because recently when I've been going to the gym, I've seen a lot of people do this exercise, and from watching them and observing how they're performing the exercise, they're definitely not getting the results they want from it. And a lot of those people doing it should just straight up not be doing it in the first place. So first of all, we'll go through the basics of the dumbbell fly, what it's targeting, how you should execute it to get the desired results, and then we can go into a little bit about who should be doing it and who shouldn't be doing it. Now, what I do with a lot of my clients, before they actually go into the exercise itself, before they do anything, I'll get them to do a set with no weight whatsoever, getting the muscle fibers firing so that they know mentally what they should be feeling and engaging when it comes to adding additional resistance. So first of all, get yourself into position. You're going to pull your shoulders back as far as you can, pop your chest out, arch your lower back. If you need to, just change the angle of your sternum. And then you're going to bend the elbows slightly. You're going to bring your hands down, 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 down. Keep the elbow fixed to the point where you feel maximum stretch on your chest. Then you're going to slowly come back up to the top whilst keeping your shoulders protracted, and you're going to start to try and squeeze your chest together. So you come to the top here and squeeze your chest as hard as you can. If you can't squeeze your chest, then this probably isn't going to be the best exercise for you. The people who are going to suffer the most when it comes to doing this exercise is those who do have poor posture or protracted shoulders. So they're basically in this position here. Okay, if they have their shoulders forward like this, there's absolutely no way they're going to get a decent contraction on their chest. So what can they do? First of all, they need to focus on improving their posture and focusing on learning how to retract their shoulders. And probably they're just going to be better off doing any other form of pressing movements instead of trying to do the flying variations, because that's a little bit too complex for those individuals. When I do this exercise, I feel as though when I keep my elbows locked, particularly at the bottom portion of the movement, I feel as though there's a hell of a lot of strain this area here, particularly on my left side. This is just from a previous injury which occurred 4 years ago, where I really ruined my rotator cuff from, I think it was poor exercise technique when it came to doing bench press. I was doing too much of it. But either way, when I tried to implement dumbbell flies back into my routine, it just was agony, particularly at the bottom of the movement. I just thought, being sensible, if anything is causing me discomfort, I'm just not going to do it anymore. Now I feel as though my shoulder has actually fully recovered now, but I don't want anything like that happening again. So what I do to relieve the stress and the tension which occurs here at the bottom of the movement is actually allow for a little bit more of an elbow bend at the bottom, so I still get a stretch on the pec, but it feels a lot more comfortable for me. And when I actually bring my elbows and my hands together at the top of the movement, I'm straightening my elbows out again. Because if you think about it, when you're doing this exercise, if you come to the top of the movement and you keep that elbow bend, you're missing out on quite a bit of range of motion. You're not actually allowing your pec to shorten as much as it could do. So if you see here, if I'm doing kind of like a bear hug thing here where there's quite a bit of elbow bend, I'm not shortening my pec as much as I could do. Now there are going to be people out there who have a very strong mind-muscle connection, and they will find the dumbbell fly an effective exercise for them. But that doesn't apply to the majority. Take Arnold Schwarzenegger for example. The dumbbell chest fly I think was one of his favorite exercises, but he was an absolute natural at doing it. He mastered that exercise to an absolute T, and obviously he saw the benefit from it. Whereas most people out there are not Arnold Schwarzenegger, so you can't try and replicate everything he did. And even he injured himself doing this exercise, you have to bear that in mind. So to sum up, the people who I think should probably avoid this exercise, or at least avoid it to begin with, would be beginners, people who are just getting into a training regime, people who have excessive pronation of the shoulders, okay, they're just going to struggle to be able to keep their shoulders back and to place the tension on the chest. 3, those people who just have an extremely hard time engaging their chest in the first place. And number 4, anyone who has any kind of shoulder issues. Now, as I mentioned before, it's the bottom position which is more than likely going to cause some issues, particularly if you're going heavy with poor form. So more suitable alternatives to doing this exercise and building your chest would be to do other kind of pressing variations, or using the cables. So whether you do a standing cable crossover or a seated one, I feel as though they're gonna decrease the risk of injury. You know, particularly if you do reach failure, you can just let go of the cables. Whereas if you reach failure at the bottom of a dumbbell fly, there's nowhere for the weights to go apart from down. And if they were to go down any further, they're just going to pull your shoulder back even more. Like a lot of exercises out there, you have to decide whether or not this is going to be suitable for yourself. Do I do these all the time? No, I don't. I will throw them in every now and then, but if I do them too often, I feel as though they do cause me a bit of strain. And I feel as though there's better substitutes out there. You do not need to do this exercise to build a big chest. You do not need to do this exercise to build a strong chest, but it can help if you can execute this exercise properly. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Hopefully you picked up a thing or two from this. I know some of the stuff I've covered is quite basic, but it's the basics which a lot of people tend to screw up in the first place. It's more than likely that I'm going to bring out a few more videos going into specific exercises and talking about them in more detail, discussing the pros and cons, who should do them, who shouldn't do them, as I think a lot of people benefit from them, so keep an eye out for them in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon.